Bro, it's so obvious. It's so obvious you just got off one of those websites. To me and anybody that has a ball sack that is entirely too full, it's so obvious, you know? And really it's everybody. Everybody's watching these weird, strange videos on weird, strange websites. It's been so normalized. It's in every piece of content that we see on Instagram and Snapchat and movies. It's just all over the place. And the reason I can say this with certainty is not because I'm some sort of man who's, ascended these things. I've ascended my lust. I've overcome and achieved, brahmacharya. None of this, no. I'm a man. And whether I like it or not, I have desires and I have energy and I have raging hormones that would love to be expressed in certain ways. But when I do these things, I lose a certain piece of my soul, a certain piece of myself. There's a reason that the French coined the orgasm as le petit mort, which is meaning in French, the little death. Because really, you do lose a piece of your soul. You do lose a piece of your life force. Because this is energy that should be used to create life. And when you waste it, you're still giving up that life, whether you actually created a life with that or not. And when I lose that, when I'm undisciplined with how I'm spending my energy and all day, 24/7, once, twice, 3 times a day, boom, 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 whether it's with the weird website or whether that's even just with a woman, when I overdo it, I look in my eyes the next day and I see my glow is gone. There is a depth to my presence, a light in my eye, a change in my awareness when I'm getting really good at holding my energy, when the longer I go, the deeper my presence becomes, the wider and more expanded my perception becomes, the more of a, not just physical glow in my body, but a glow in my eye, a glow in my presence, that I can notice that other people notice it. And also I can notice it in myself because I'm not a freaking idiot. Like when you gain this much energy, when you're really good with your intuition, you can see when you are glowing and you are vibrant and you feel alive. And when I go back onto these websites and I call up these ladies who I'm friends with and I'm like, just come over, whatever. You gotta bust a nut every once in a while. That's just a lie that your ego tells you so that you stay stuck in addiction. I lose a piece of myself. And if you are doing those things, it's so obvious to anybody who has the eyes to metaphorically see and the ears to hear. They can see straight through you. They know exactly what you were doing 2 hours before when you were in your bedroom, sitting by yourself with your phone, when you thought nobody was watching. That is not simply kept between you and you. Men who are retaining their energy and who are sober, we can see it all over your face. And it's very sad. And we get sad about it. We have empathy for you because we realized it's not that you're evil or something of that nature. You simply do not know. You've just been conditioned this way that, I'm supposed to do this when I feel this energy. But that's not the way it should be. And we see a piece of ourselves in you because we know we used to be there. We know there is still that addict inside of us that still wants to go back to these old habits, these old detrimental ways of being. And don't even get me started on how girls can pick up on this. Holy crap, bro. Girls are so intuitive. They can see that death, that look of just the NPC stare that most guys have, especially if you were being sexually undisciplined. Now there's other things that play into this as well. But when you are just undisciplined with your energy, you have horrible lifestyle habits, and you just have this dead, derped out, lustful, kind of creepy vibe, and look to your eye, you be repelling the bitches. Women will avoid you like the freaking plague. You know how I know this? Because women used to be this way with me. And I thought, women suck. No. And then I started actually cultivating my energy in a positive way and started being a genuinely good person. Not that was moral, and not that was pure, but I was just simply full of life. Again. And life gravitates towards life. People that are full of life run away from people who are empty of life. because we can tell that you are just a depleted energy vortex that just sucks everything away from other people. Not because you're a bad person, but because if you're empty, you're going to search for things to fill you. When I'm full of my life force because I've stayed sexually disciplined and, focused on other positive lifestyle habits, I'm so full of life that I don't need nothing from nobody. I don't need a friendship. I don't need women in my life. I don't need a relationship. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need anything. Dude, I don't even need food as much when I'm physically charged up as well. Full of my own prana, full of my own chi, full of my own vital life force. So when I don't need anything from anyone, I'm in a place of abundance because I'm full of everything I need. And so much so that it overflows from me. So you start attracting people like bees to honey because you are overflowing with this elixir of life, with this positive energy. And it's attractive to people. You have an aura about you. Not because you're special, not because I'm some special person that's like, I'm so special. No, it's simply because I do what no other man is willing to do. I get the attention that no man gets because I'm doing what no man wants to do. I'm giving up the one thing that no man wants to give up. And I'm not just saying I'm perfect. I'm only on day 24 right now. So obviously, it's not perfect and it's not easy for me. Not in the least, bro. Dude, when you pair semen retention with cold, hard sobriety, and you are just raw dog in life, no substances besides a little bit of caffeine. I gotta have my caffeine before the gym because I'm still a little addict that likes to get a juicy pump and get a little dopamine hit from the caffeine and the energy drinks. But in general, you're being as sober as possible and you're being as sexually disciplined as possible. Listen, I'm not going to tell you that you need to go years and years and years on semen retention, but if you were doing it every day and you're only having one release every 30 days, that is progress in my book. Maybe that's a cope as far as I'm concerned because I hold myself to that standard. It's like, well, you don't need to even release once every 30 days. You should do once every year and even less than that. But, I'm only 22 and I'm still working on these addictions. So I'm not perfect and I'm not some guru. I'm not some teacher. I'm just a dude who realized that I feel better and I gain a glow and I gain a piece of myself back when I hold my freaking nuts in. That's all I know. And that's all I'll ever be sure of. Everything else is just a big fucking guess at this point. So hopefully this all makes sense, right? I can see it in other people. I can see the depleted state in others so clearly because I lived there. That state of being depleted was my best friend as far as I was concerned. Because even though it sucked, even though it was so horrible to live in a metaphorical living hell, it was comfortable because it just held me. It didn't force me to move. It said, you can be as crappy as you want. You can be as low energy as you want. And we will hold you and we will let you keep your addictions. We will let you stay asleep. And when you try to crawl out of that, it's not going to let you go easily. The devil, metaphorically speaking, has no reason to chase somebody who is complacent in hell. It will only chase those who are actively trying to escape hell. So you're going to feel like you're getting more attacks on this path. You're almost getting bigger surges in lust because you are breaking the addiction. You're almost like a drug addict going through a detox. It's going to be painful. And I've seen the progression of being, I used to be very high energy in high school and I slowly lost that because of degenerate lifestyle habits. And I'm slowly getting that back. So I'm seeing in real time, not somebody who's overcome this stuff, but somebody who is overcoming it actively. That's why my message, my inspiration to you is even more powerful because I'm not somebody who, I did it. And like you guys down there, no, I'm doing this with you, bro. I'm doing this with you. And that's why the community that I started is so powerful because it's not like I'm trying to teach them. I'm some teacher. Now I have things to share and big, positive things that I can share with you. But really, these guys are keeping me accountable as well. This is just as hard for me as it is for them. So first of all, jump in the community. I will put the link in the description and hopefully we can stay accountable to each other because really you can't do this without accountability. Because there's going to be moments where you decide that, fuck it. There's too much energy in the lower chakras of my body and I just want to paint the room white like fucking Picasso. But I digress. Get in the community. I'm seeing my progress in real time. of regaining my energy, regaining my depth as a masculine man. I'm finding my depth of awareness once again through the practice of celibacy and becoming sexually and energetically disciplined with my releases. And when I see people that have not done that, it's so obvious. And it's very sad because I don't want to see my brothers asleep. I want us collectively as a species and as a population to expand and ascend and raise our consciousness up. But some people want to stay asleep forever in the matrix and rot away in their little pod, staring at the screens, eating the poisonous pig slop that they're told is food, and touching their pickle 24/7 and releasing all of their freaking awareness and energy because they get to stay asleep. They get to stay asleep. And I have sympathy for that because I was there for a while, and every once in a while I fall back into bad habits, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. No bueno, bro. And when I relapse, holy crap. It's like the semen retention is the best drug and the worst drug of all because you get such this elevated state. You feel so high naturally on life. It's like a high that you cannot replicate from any substance out there. And then when you drop back down to regular NPC status and you're just lost in the fog of your own lack of awareness and low core energy, the withdrawal of that drug of being high on your own freaking life force is so bad because you know you can't get it back for another couple weeks. The only path is just to retain. Whether you're single, retain. If you're in a relationship, retain. If you're sick or you're healthy, retain in both scenarios. If you're rich or you're poor, retain in both scenarios. The answer is always just to retain longer until you can't anymore. But when you can't, I'm not saying it's bad if you don't. I'm just saying when you go back to old habits and you have a release, you will notice a drop. I'm not going to say you're going to go back to the completely depleted Coomer days, but if you've been retaining for 90 days and you have a single release, you will retain some of your, reservoir of energy that you've built up over time. It's not, you're not going back to ground zero, but you are going to feel a huge drop and it'll take a little bit to get back. So just be aware. And with that knowledge, do what you're going to do. Yeah. And because I can see it in myself when I become depleted, I can see just the numbed out, empty look in my eye. Now, I might actually feel good. After a release, to be honest, for the next day, I feel great. There's all this dopamine flowing around in my system. I feel relaxed. I'm just like, fuck, this is amazing. Why didn't I not look at, the video sooner? Because once that high leaves you, the day of or the next day, or maybe it takes like 3 days for you to bounce back and really hit the low that, the dopamine was suppressing, the dopamine that you were getting from the hookups or the website. When that leaves you, you are going to look dead in the eye. Dead. Now, if you're 16, 17, 18, you can get away with this because you're so full of energy and vitality. You go do that stuff. It's a little bit harder to lose your vitality because you build it up again in 4 days. When you start to get a little bit older, I'm only 22. It takes me like a good solid week to get my energy back. And that should scare the fuck out of you. You think you can just mess around with retention and, have your cake and eat it too. Do retention for a few days and then go back and forth. But at a certain point, it will catch up with you. And you will realize this is going to have to be a lifestyle for you. Because first of all, you are on the spiritual path. There's not really any room for you to diddle around with addictions. No room for that. But second of all, you just can't bounce back the same once you're older because your life force is not as strong as when you're, 15 or however old you were when you first got exposed to videos like that. Or however old you were when you started hooking up. These days, man, they're starting young. I didn't have my first sexual experience until I was like 17, 18. Yeah. And it was just like a date and we just like kissed and made out and stuff. It was nothing crazy. But dude, I'd be hearing stories like kids are starting at like 10 years old now. Like what the actual crap? They get rid of their power before they even realize what power they hold. And you bet your ass when I have children, when I have sons, they're going to know about the detrimental effects of the videos, of endless sexual hookups, of the power that they hold as men, the power that they are going to be entrusted with by God himself in the universe. And bruh, there ain't no way I'm gonna let them do that. Now, once they're their own men and they want to do that, that's fine. That's their decision. But as far as I'm concerned, when I'm teaching them, I need to train up my child in the way he should go. And guess what? Doing that stuff is never the correct way to go. I'd rather you catch me dead than have sons who are depleted coomers. Fuck that. I want my children and my sons to be men of God, to be men who can hold their ground, who can build the depth of their presence and find their own soul. Men who are strong. And guess what? Sexual immorality, it just makes you damn weak. Don't believe me? Look at the average guy out there. Look at the average guy walking the street. You can smell how fucking weak and pathetic they are. But this isn't a reason to go judge them. This is a way for you to take the mirror, point it back on yourself, and you say, I better not be that. I better do my best. And that's not to say I'm perfect. Again, I have to keep saying that. I'm not perfect. I'm not preaching from my fucking ivory tower. Yeah. Just do your best, bro. Because, people with high energy, they can see that you look at those websites when you do. It's all over your face. So don't do that. Or do it, if you want, it's your choice. But I'd recommend you get in the community, you realize that you need some real accountability, and you get disciplined with this stuff and you stop doing it. So hopefully I will see you in the next video or in the community or both. So it's my pleasure as always. Peace, buddy.